I'm sitting with incredible people this morning that are going to help us when it comes to our pockets. Because, my friend, if you did not know, Stats SA releasing their stats from June, it is shown that apparently the rising inflation continues. And of course, that is also owing to fuel and food, mostly in all of the households around South Africa. Now, look, we want to break it down. We want to understand what's going on. Because also, when it comes to the Gen Zs, as much as they face unemployment, or rather even high figures of it, as well as just really struggling to really make ends meet sometimes, the Gen Zs are saving and the Gen Zs are making very smart choices when it comes to their finances. So we're here to find out how exactly are they doing that, how can we learn from them, and what exactly is going on when it comes to the rising inflation and your pocket. So we've brought along two gentlemen who are going to be helping us do just that. It is the CEO of Student Village. I'm talking about Ronan Ayres, as well as Clement Manyatela, who is from SABC1's incredible health club. And friend, I hope you're ready for this, because these guys, they've got all of the information we need. Let's give them a feel-good welcome, please. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Good, Zanel. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Except I'm not that good because the inflation, it's doing a lot. It's doing a lot, and I want us to jump right into it. I mean, Clement, you're somebody who deals with different age groups of South Africans each and every day. Let's talk about how worried are people about their prices right now in terms of what's happening in the stores and everything.
I mean, people are incredibly worried. Every single time there is like information like this from Stats SA about inflation going up, people are concerned.
Yes.
What's interesting is that I think we're becoming more and more aware on the implications of inflations going high. So we're having serious conversations about how do we save. We are very price sensitive. We are looking at loyalty programs. We're thinking about freelancing, getting extra jobs. So I think we're at a point where for the longest time when inflation has been going up, things are tough in the economy. We are beginning to be more practical about how do we get out of this situation. And I think for me, that's what's positive about this.
Really? So we're essentially becoming a little bit more financially savvy, if you will.
Yes, we are.
I love that for us.
Do we have any other choice?
That's also true. That's also true. It's not like we can just, do whatever we want. But Ronan, Clement mentioned a whole lot of things, such as saving, such as becoming a little bit more financially savvy, and even getting a side hustle. And Gen Z is apparently doing that very well, according to the report that came out. Can you talk to us a little bit about what exactly just surprised you when you got to see this report in terms of how Gen Z is spending their money?
Yeah, so everything that Clement said, think of the Gen Zs already way ahead in all of this. They're not thinking about it. They are so savvy that they're making a plan.
Sure.
So our recent studies suggest that they're really, while they're taking strain, Stats SA says they're unemployed. We say they're underemployed, but they're not idle. So what's so interesting is when we looked at where they're getting their money from, it's either state-reliant or personally reliant. And when they're personally reliant, side hustles came through as the highest means of income. So they're saying, you know what, we see inflation is rising, we see rising prices, but you know what, we're going to make a plan. And there are so many interesting things we can unpack as we go in the conversation.
I love that. Do you know what? I feel like the future is safe. Let's make a Gen Z the Minister of Finance, if you will.
Let's make Gen Z the president.
Exactly. Thank you, Clement. I'm so glad you're on that page. But I want to take us to families and talking about money. Because for a lot of us, it's not something that happens. We come from a background where there was a lot of scarcity, and now we're just being thrust into this world of having to now make it and having to now make a plan as Gen Zs. Is it still a taboo topic when it comes to most households when we talk about finances?
Yeah, I think to an extent, culturally, a lot of households are still scared to talk about money. It's still a taboo. But I think, as I said, the conversation is changing. I mean, the financial picture has forced us to be more practical about how do we survive? How do we get out of this deep, dark hole? So we're becoming more creative about how to make money. As I said, people are choosing to freelance as opposed to just take a permanent job that sort of locks them in because we're trying to get extra money. So I think the conversation has already started. I mean, I remember a while back, and maybe this is the benefit for us millennials, and my mom was a teacher and used to teach isiNdebele. And I used to think, why don't you read the news in isiNdebele on weekends? And then you can actually teach during the week. Why? Because I could see financially it's tough, but here's an opportunity for you to make extra money. So I think conversations like that, it's not just stopping with thought, like I thought about it.
Yeah.
But people are making suggestions to their folks now. Why don't you do this?
Yeah.
So we're talking about investment, we're talking about retirement, and speaking of Gen Zs, they are the ones to normally start that conversation with their parents. What's going to happen when you're not here with us anymore?
That's
what are we
true.
investing in? So the conversation is happening more and more now because we are forced to think creatively and think of solutions.
I love that. And the Gen Zs aren't scared of anyone, hey? They will say what they need to say. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But let's jump back to the Gen Zs, please, Ronan, because I feel like a lot of them at the moment are kind of, like we said, budgeting and everything, right? But what are the top 3 things that they actually are cutting back on, and what do they refuse to compromise on?
So it's very interesting when you see how they spend. So basics are the new luxuries.
Okay. That's
so now
hectic.
think when the money lands every month, and every month is different. So it's not like every month is the same.
Yeah.
So they're spending the most on groceries and transport.
Okay.
You're looking at almost $2,500 a month on groceries. But what you're seeing is it's almost an equal amount on clothes and shoes.
Okay.
So everything is about the social currency. So I am the product, me. And so what they've learned is how to monetize themselves. And so the one thing they're not going to skimp on is what I look like.
Yeah.
But they've also worked out that they can have replicas. You don't have to have the brand names unless they're shoes. Shoes is something that I can walk around every day and I don't have to say anything. People can see, okay,
Yes.
that person's arrived.
Yeah.
And so they're willing to go out or they're willing to do without some of the brand names. What they do at home and what they do outside are completely different worlds.
Sure.
So when I'm at home, I'm willing to eat out of a can and I'm willing to drink brands that may not be so fancy, but when I go out, I'm popping bottles, even if I'm renting them.
Yes, oh my goodness. And you know, this was a conversation where people spoke about renting things, and it's become so popular now. But like you said, it's because it's the aesthetic. It's what people want everyone else to perceive them as. But gentlemen, we're going to continue this conversation. And Vzansi, you need to make sure you do not go anywhere. We're talking about the rising inflation and the impact of it on your wallet. However, Gen Z apparently has got the answers because the way that they're doing it, they're still finding a way to save and even finding side hustles that allow them to just have the money to be able to have the shoes that they won't compromise on. Do not go anywhere. This conversation is going to get juicier. But for now, my friends in Cape TZ, Foshizi, how else is the show going to get juicier?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, welcome back, Expresso family. You're still on your Feel Good Breakfast show indeed. And this morning, we're having a very important conversation. Inflation is rising again, but what does that mean for your pocket? Well, this is why we're sitting down with Clement Manyatela as well as Ronan Ayres, and we're trying to figure out how exactly it is that we can possibly go in the right direction when it comes to our finances, but what we can learn from Gen Z, who are apparently doing it right. So, Ronan, it is said that 90% of young South Africans in the study that was released are saving. How are they managing to do this on such a small amount of money coming into their accounts?
So the assumption that it's small. It might not be small. These guys have got side hustles. They've got multiple sources of income, and they're just very savvy on how they spend.
Yes.
So even when you look at loyalty, they're not loyal by design. 99% of them have every single loyalty card for every single grocery store and retail accounts.
Yes.
What they're doing is they're not loyal to the brand, they're loyal to the deal. So they're saving. And so they're saving a portion and they're even investing a portion in almost high-risk things. 30% of Gen Zs that we surveyed are investing in cryptos.
Sure.
So they invest some in low-risk kind of investments and some in really high-risk kind of investments. They're even seeing like betting apps as a side hustle in itself.
Oh, wow.
So they're being really savvy in what they spend on.
Yeah.
And they make sure they're getting a deal wherever they go. And then they're really looking at alternative kinds of investment pathways to create wealth.
That is so interesting. I'm so proud of our Gen Zs. I think they're doing amazing, right? But this is why then I also want to talk about the buzzword that we've been getting into, because I feel like they are the kings and queens of this. It is the side hustle. Talk to me, Clement. You know, in terms of all of the communities that you cover, the communities that you get to go and be a part of, you know, what exactly is the feel around side hustles, and are more people getting into it?
So what we're picking up, I mean, from the conversations that I often have on a daily basis is, as I said, people do not want to be clocked up into a permanent contract anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time, I don't know if you remember, Ronan, where getting a permanent job was the thing. Like when you get a job, you get a job. But when you get a permanent job,
you've made it.
Yes. Yeah. It's no longer the case anymore. Like people now want to be more flexible with their time. They want to maximize on the time they have.
Yes.
As opposed to spend 8-9 hours with one workspace. They want to be more productive. I can do that work in 4 hours, and then I'm going to jump into another Zoom meeting. I'm going to jump into another call, and I'm going to do something else. And again, people just want flexibility. They don't want just one contract that ties them to one salary. So because of the tough economic times, people have had to think creatively around other jobs. I mean, people now are thinking about talents. Like if you know how to do hair, but you're an accountant. You are an accountant during the day, and on weekends or after hours, you do hair.
And then you post it on social media.
You put a post on social media, and then boom, that's your marketing.
Yes.
Can I add to that?
Huge thing.
It really is.
So what we're seeing with Gen Zs is they don't want that 9 to 5. They actually see it as punishment, and they see it as archaic, and they see it like that's from the dinosaur age.
Yes.
What they're saying, well, how they're thinking is the job is going to pay my debit orders while my passion and side hustle, which I'm using both my passion and technology to make happen, and they can be global. So they could be sitting at the desk doing some box doing what they do, but they could be a global superstar in their passion, and their hope is that their passion gets momentum so they can ditch the job. And what you'll see in the future is probably people will have multiple jobs at multiple companies instead of having this one thing and one income stream.
That is so interesting. And I was even going to say, I mean, I was going to joke about it, but you actually just kind of really just made it seem like this is the truth, is that Gen Zs want to wear their crop tops and sneakers to work, okay? They want to be free.
So the thing is to be authentic and free to be me.
Yeah, and I'm so
unapologetic about that.
Exactly.
And a lot of companies are actually learning to be more flexible. I mean, back in the day, companies just wanted you, Zanele, to work for us. But now they allow you to come do this, and then afterwards you can do whatever you want, as long as you've been productive here and we've seen the output.
I love that. And I think another very big trend is becoming healthy holistically. And of course, Clement, you are the king of that on SABC1 at 6 p.m. every Monday with the Health Club. Talk to us a little bit about what exactly this specific show is about and how it helps people.
So it's on SABC1 at 6 p.m. every single Monday. It's the Health Club, and it's really just something we've created to, like, just a campfire where we have conversations about health. I think we need to normalize having conversations about medicine, about health, and also deal with misinformation. There's a lot of misinformation out there about our health, about rare cancers, about obesity, you name it. And what the Health Club has done is we've gone and looked at what are people misinformed about and what are the most important health conversations to have, and we have them every single Monday at 6 p.m. on SABC1.
Beautiful. The perfect way to start off your Monday, right? To start off your week, forgive me. But Ronan, I want to ask you, please, because I feel like we've been talking about the Gen Zs and how incredibly well they're doing. What can all of us as the other generations learn from the Gen Zs when it comes to our finances?
So the one thing that's been remarkable is that they're credit averse.
Okay.
So only about 15 or 16% have credit cards. So most of them have between 1 and 3 bank accounts, which this is quite interesting. So they're spreading their eggs. They see it as spreading their risk. What's really interesting is 80% still use cash. So I see that as a legacy from what they've learned from their parents, and they see that as a free way to still to transact. So there are no fees with cash, and no one can really steal my money, and they choose which bank they're going to have their debit orders off so they can have flexibility in who they want to pay every month or not.
Oh, wow.
So that may not be the best thing to learn. But what they're really learning is how to be, if you look at, there's this new trend around what can I do with 100 Rand? How far can I stretch
Yes,
100
I've
Rand?
seen it. So they're stretching their money,
Yeah,
essentially.
so everything is about value.
Beautiful.
Value, flexibility, and saving. And the thing is, they've only grown up in rainy weather. They don't know a world without there being something happening. They need rainy day accounts.
Yes.
And so that's why they're such big savers, because they're not only beneficiaries from in terms of receiving money, they now have the responsibility when something happens at home or anywhere, they have
The
to
family
provide.
looks to them.
So
Amazing.
they've learned from a very early stage to save and to help.
Amazing. Oh, well, gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I mean, I feel like, yes, we can always hear about what's happening in the financial world, but actually getting practical steps as to how we can fight that or even just do our best to really stay afloat. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
And we will see you on Monday, 6 p.m. on SABC One. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ronan. And listen, family, this is exactly what we love to do here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is equipping each and every one of us to possibly be a little bit better in whatever way we can be. So what exactly can you do? You heard the lovely tips. Go and take them, go and apply them. And don't forget, you can catch Clement on SABC One every Monday at 6 p.m. for the Health Club. And of course, if you want any more tips in terms of what exactly it is that Gen Zs are doing, Ronan and the family have got you. www.studentvillage.co.za. There's a whole lot just in terms of what exactly is happening in terms of the Gen Zs and so much more. Right about now, though, I need you to make sure that you do not go anywhere, because my Cape Town family, talk to me, my friends, what's happening?